What's up, YouTube? South Jersey Prepper here. I'm going to go over topics of bugging in and bugging out. So, bugging out. Why or why not you should do it? Well, you have instances like Katrina back in, what was it, 2005, 2006. So, Katrina hit. People last minute did the preparation because they saw on the National Weather Channel of the huge storm system coming towards Louisiana. Yeah, some people were already prepared because they live in a hurricane state and they already had the water storage, the food storage. Okay, so you have some preparation, right? Now the other people that are like, oh, it'll never happen to me. Preparation. So they weren't prepared. They tried to leave the city. They had no supplies whatsoever to sustain them for a couple days or however long. They had no plan. So why you should have a plan for bugging out. Now you can go all over the internet, YouTube, and see plans for bugging out. Your bug out bags, your escape and evade bags, whatever scenario you have or you think is going to happen. So you have that specification of that bug out bag set to you, whether it be for a Red Dawn scenario or another Hurricane Katrina or a government takeover, economical takeover, and you just want to bug out, get the hell out of Dodge. So you have your bug out bag. You have a set bug out location. Now my bug out location, the way it takes several days, but you have to have caches along the way. Because one thing, let's say a takeover happens or a huge weather storm or a war scenario happens. Electricity is going to go down, utilities, everything is going to go down. So you have to have countermeasures to that. Cache is an amazing thing. Now, some people are lone wolf and they'll just go out to a certain location. They'll mark up an area. They'll put a cache in and they won't tell anybody. And nobody will ever know because most preppers, they're so good at hiding their resources that you will never ever know. So you have your cache. Now I'm going on the lone wolf method right now. So you have your caches, and it has your food, your water, your gasoline if you need to go cross country for your preparation. It has what you need to your specifications. So you have that, right? Do you have multiple routes? Meaning, do you have multiple caches? It's better to have more of something than have one of something. So you only have one route, one cache. Now, back in Iraq and even Afghanistan, pretty much every war that we've been to overseas in the Middle East, there was always, you know, checkpoints and whatnot. But yet, somehow the Taliban, Al Qaeda were still getting through. So, because we were taking the multiple, like some of the backroad routes, but we weren't hitting all the routes. So it's better to plan ahead and have multiple routes instead of one route. So you have now you've gotten the idea of doing multiple routes, multiple routes. You have multiple caches now, but you have multiple caches in multiple spots along your route. Okay, so you have your 4 roads, right? Let's say you have 4 roads, and along the way, exactly at let's say 500 miles away from your starting point, all 4 routes, but you're going 1,200 miles. So you got your gas. Now you can only go 500 more miles, but you still have to go another 200 miles. You have at that 1,000 mile point, you have another cache. Like I said, multiple caches on the same route, on multiple routes, multiple caches. It starts to get expensive. But if you prep ahead and plan ahead, you won't be in that scenario where you're fucked. Part of my language and all the people that got offended by that. But fuck it. So multiple caches, multiple routes, multiple spies. So you're the lone wolf, you got all that. My opinion, have multiple people set into your plan. Or bugging out. Me and my roommate and a bunch of other people in here like that I have incorporated in my plan. Dave Velez 13, Devin Ray, 88. We all have plans. We all have a set plan on what we need to do. Now, some of us have to go further than others, in which we have incorporated that. And, some of my family members, some of my other friends that I have not mentioned because I plan not to mention them, I have incorporated them in my plan, and we have already set up certain caches. So, the multiple person method. Alright, so now we're going to the bug out bag with multiple people. Now, me and my roommate, we have different weapon systems. I utilize the AK-47 because I personally think it's more reliable than the, AR-15 platform. And there's pros and cons to both weapons. We all know that the AK-47, you can throw it in the sand, leave it there for 50 years, pick it up 51 years later, charge around, and blast it, and it'll still work. So, but not going off topic with utilizing, pros and cons of weapons, but anyways, going back to our bug out bag, my weapon system, he needs to know how to use his weapon system. I need to know how to use it. And how to accurately use it set to their, sighting in and stuff like that. Because I'm not going to sit there, he drops his AR-15 and transitions, but I have magazines for his AR-15, so I slap it and I use it. I'm a left-handed shooter. He's a right-handed shooter. He has it sighted into him. I need to know how to accurately hit a target having it sighted into him, and vice versa. He needs to know how to use my AK, which is sighted into me as a left-hander, and he's a right-hander, so he needs to utilize that. So have your people in your party know how to use a weapon system, even if they've never shot a weapon system before. Now have spare parts for that weapon system. I have spare parts for my AK. He has, and also his AR-15. I have, he has the same thing, spare parts. Have tools for his weapon system. I have tools for his weapon system. You can see that in my bug out video for my bug out bag, how, I have a multi-tool for his AR-15. Now, he has the same thing for an AK, but he's not like me and doesn't want to get out his information. So I have my AK-47. He has his AR-15. We both know how to use both weapon systems. We both know how to, functionally fix each weapon system. So we've got that under control. I have certain things in my bug out bag. He has certain things in his bug out bag. We plan to stick together. So if we stick together, we have more of one. We have multiple of one. And then talking about, besides weapon systems, incorporating other people into your plan, my one buddy, Dave Velez 13, who has a channel on here, he has a longbow. I have no fucking idea how to use a longbow. But through training, I have gotten better using a longbow. And, he uses firearms. So that's another tool I picked up. Make sure you know primitive skills. Because I'll tell you one thing. This lamp, this cell phone, how are you going to use it if there's no electricity, if the power grid is down? So make sure you know primitive skills and how to survive. Everybody in my party knows primitive skills and how to survive with just using a knife or a rock or a stick. How to make a primitive shelter, a lean-to, a double lean-to, a debris hut. We all know how to do that. We all know how to start a fire without using fire. mechanism like a lighter, matches, a flint. We know all how to use that. So make sure your party knows how to live primitively if you plan on bugging out for a long-term situation, which we plan on doing. So you done with bugging out, the lone wolf, the party, incorporating people into your plan. Bugging in, I prefer it for a certain extent of time. You know, I don't plan on bugging in. Now I have, you know, stockpiles and stuff for a bugging in situation, but I don't plan on it. One, my family's not out here. Two, you know, everybody that I'm with, our families don't live out here. We're trying to get to our families, and our families know what about our bug out location, so we're all trying to get together and start a kind of like a little colony, you would say. So bugging in, if you choose to do it, that's your choice, but you got to remember the pros and cons. Do you have your stockpile, your water, your food? Do you have a way to provide security for yourself and your family? Do you have means of um, what am I looking for? For electricity, stuff like that. Do you have power? Because most people don't, rely on wood stoves anymore. Everything's gas powered, heaters and all this other stuff. So do you have a stockpile of wood? Do you have a generator to generate electricity for certain appliances, like a refrigerator, a stove? If you do gas or electric stove, do you know how to, once you run out of gasoline, do you know how to make another fuel source that'll power that generator, like a gaserator? Most people have a wooderator. My bad. Most people have no fucking clue what that is. You take, you know, easy way to explain it. Take a 55-gallon drum, right? So you put wood in that, you start a fire. You have another container of metal that's smaller than that 55-gallon drum with wood parts in it, but it's sealed and there's a hose. You light the fire, the wood chips inside that second container will produce a wood gas. Do you know how to convert that wood gas to be used in let's say, a gas powered generator? Do you know how to do that? Most people have no clue. I didn't know about it until a couple months ago when I started doing research on it. So do you know how to do that? But another thing about bugging in, though, you are a beacon to all the refugees that have not prepped at all. So just remember that. Make sure you know how to utilize that firearm. Make sure you've done training. Make sure your family knows how to utilize that same exact firearm or whatever weapon system or self-protection item you're going to do. Your family members know how to use it as well. Because I'll tell you one thing: my baby sister, who's younger than me, well, she's not a baby anymore. Pretty much she should be. She knows how to use firearms, but a friend of hers that's the same age has no clue and never picked up a firearm. All she knows is apparently firearms kill, which firearms don't. People kill people. Firearms are just cool. But that's a totally different, topic to talk about. But that's my opinion. I could go on for hours talking about this, which I have done with coworkers for several hours. But you know what? You do what you do. Prep, don't prep, bug in, bug out, whatever the hell you do. But that's your damn opinion, your damn choice. But South Jersey Prepper here. I'm going to finish up my good old pumpkin special reserve uh, woodchuck and go to bed. So hey, this is South Jersey Prepper signing out. God bless America and God bless you.